Alright, so this is a quick revisit from a model kit I built a while ago. I just had to pull it out just to touch something up. So what I usually do to save space is I just cut out the end from the box, the model box. I don't keep the whole model box, but I'll keep like the end. I slip it underneath the display case, and I have a whole bunch of these AMT display cases. That way it's nice and compact, and I store them away. So on this 1962 bubble top Bel Air, what happened was the rear is at an angle, so the tail lights are also at an angle. So what that means is if you install it upside down, the lights point upward. So that's the case in this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the rear bumper and remove the tail light, and then angle it back so the lights come out horizontal, not angled upward. And also, this was before I discovered using Sharpie for the trim, so I was using a brush, and usually the bristles are slightly frayed, so I'm going to tighten up the word Chevrolet a little bit. But this was a model kit I built earlier. So that's the interior. The battery caps can probably be tightened up a little bit too, because I used a brush. Try to tighten that up a little bit. But anyway, so this is the kit. Try to tighten it up and make it look a little sharper. Okay, I'll be back. So I'm finally finished touching up or repairing the 62. It was a trade-off as far as the tail lights go, because I kind of mutilated the clear red lens when I removed it, but at least it's not pointing upwards. So this is the only lens that's still somewhat in perfect shape. Others had to be touched up with some red marker, but at least it's not pointing upward. So I guess it was a trade-off. Clear red lenses pointing upward, or mutilated plastic pieces but pointing horizontally out. So I also tightened it up a little bit with the Sharpie metallic pen, chrome trim. So I'm satisfied, and this will be going back into the display case. But as far as the 1962 Bel Air 409 kit from AMT, this is one of their better kits, and it's definitely one of their higher end as far as design. So I highly recommend this kit if you can get any variant of the 62, because it originally came out as the Bel Air 409, then they came out with some super stocker versions, and this one, as I like to call it, has a double intake frying pan shape. But I think later ones, they actually came with the stock air cleaner that's reverse and sucks the air in from the base of the windshield, where the air builds up what is going forward, kind of like a poor man's supercharger. So I highly recommend this kit, and what I mean by being advanced is because the parts and everything seems more in proportion. So for example, I'm going to compare it to the 1964 Chevy Impala that I built by AMT, because I built 3 of them. There's a large space between the engine and the radiator, but this one, look how tight everything fits, so it's pretty nicely done. There's also an upper and lower radiator hose. There's also hinges supplied, because the other kits, they usually just a tab and you just stick the hood down, but this one comes with the hinges, comes with the steering box. It's just a lot more detailed. It comes with the decals for the 409 engine. I love that big W-shaped oversized valve cover. Look at 409. Even the battery, the battery posts, if I can get it to focus, you see how they even include the terminal clamps. That's how detailed it is. So this is definitely on the higher end of the AMT design and kits and releases. Also, you don't get that annoying metal axle that goes through the engine block. They're independent. It's not the exhaust that's molded into the chassis. Everything's separate. The rear swing arms, shock absorbers, dual exhaust. Even has that little, some kind of rubber tubing that comes down. I love the Spartan interior. I always loved the Bel Air because the Bel Air is like the lesser known or the little brother of the Impala. It's more simple, and I love cars like this, the unassuming, unimposing car that just looks like a grocery getter or a standard car, and then it has a monster engine in it. So I love these sleeper cars. I know Revell makes the 62 Impala, but I kind of like the look of this bubble top. I think the bubble top actually is a nicer design, the way the top is, not flat. And also, Bel Airs also have a special place in my heart because my dad actually owned a 1964 Chevrolet Bel Air. It was a 4-door. He got it late in 64 as a leftover showroom model, so it's cheaper when the 65s were coming out. It was a sedan. It was not a sports sedan, so it had the awkward looking window posts, but it was a great car, and I actually had it all the way up to 2002, and then I sold it because it got to a point where I had to consider a full restoration, and my oldest one was on his way, and it was just a lot of work, so I just ended up selling it. But that one was a plain Jane Bel Air 4-door. It was black, had no air conditioning, so we used to die in the summer. It had the straight 6, the 230 cubic inch, which basically is the same thing as the standard 250 inline 6 in most of the Chevys into the 70s, just with a larger bore. Had the 2-speed power glide automatic, so it was a very durable basic transportation. So that's why I always love Bel Airs. But anyway, so this is it. I tightened it up. It's going to go back into the showcase. Highly recommend this kit if you guys can get your hands on them. That's the interior. So I will set this aside. The wheels do move, of course. Next up, I also want to do a mail call because I received some shop cards. First up, Brian over at BG Model Shop. It's a nice looking modern day Challenger, it looks like, with some splatter of gray and black. Brian puts out great videos. He's currently working on a Subaru Impreza WRX, one of the cars I fell in love with playing PlayStation Gran Turismo. He also has a sticker, and I can't wait for him to build his Corvair ramp side pickup. It comes from a Corvair family, so go check him out. Next up, Old Tom Rambler 69. I love that he has 2 cards, and he gave me the whole backstory on the Old Tom logo and why he has 2 cards. So check out his channel or reach out to him. There's a great backstory on this, and how can you not like the insane clown? Kind of reminds me of Pennywise on the movie It, or Twisted Metal, Sweet Tooth. But anyway, check out Tom at Rambler 69. I believe he is working on a Plymouth right now, so check him out. Next up, Skip-O-Matics. He and I are very similar, that he also made his own decals and he used them on his rocket train, so check him out. I love the photo of I guess it's him, with his tinfoil hat. Gotta have one of those when the aliens invade so they don't read your magnetic brainwaves. So go check him out. Skip-O-Matic's Model Mania. Also have Big Charlie's Model Garage. Love that Kenworth. That looks like a 55 Nomad. Some kind of heavy duty Ford. It could be a heavy Super Duty 350 or 450 pickup. And the bronze, could it be a Chevrolet or a Ford pickup? I don't know. It looks like a custom grill. Can't quite tell. But anyway, congrats to Big Charlie. He just came back from an auto show and he grabbed first place on a black truck that he entered into the model contest. So check him out. And lastly, Mark over at Red 13's Model Shop. Love the Enterprise, the Stuka Tank Buster, and I think a 64 Malibu Chevelle. Check Mark out. I'm actually jealous of him because he has a lot of model kits, a lot of kit stash. He puts them into these large, big blue pails or plastic containers. I wish I had that many kits. He just finished a 59 El Camino pickup with red tinted glass. So check these guys out. I'll put their channels on the description. And want to wish everyone a happy Father's Day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully you had a chance to work on your models, finishing up, starting maybe a model or two. So that's the 62 AMT out of production. I actually did try to get the lens from round 2, but they actually wrote back and said it's out of production, so they couldn't help me with the red lens. So I end up using it. It's going straight back into the display case. If you guys ever need missing parts or stuff like that, always try the manufacturer, especially Revell Monogram. I mean Revell, Germany. If it's still in production, they're more than happy to send it to you. So I always reach out to the manufacturer. But anyway, so that's it for today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.